Hi, everybody. So this is raw and vulnerable. This is me. Want to share a story with you. I don't know about you, but do you ever feel like you get this feeling in your body that there's like an emotional blockage and like something needs to be released? It's like you just feel kind of like uncomfortable, something stagnant, but you just really can't put your finger on it, and like the emotions aren't flowing and everything's just stagnant and it's just not moving. So that was me today. And I'm just like, a lot of times what happens is I start to figure it out with my mind. I'm like, why am I feeling this way? Why is it not moving? What is going on emotionally? Like everything's good, right? Like you're living your purpose, you're excited, you just had a really amazing like emotional connection day with your family yesterday. You've been productive. Like what's going on? Sometimes we just have this like melancholic feeling about us, and sometimes it's you just feel that way because there's things shifting and moving inside of you. But other times we're not actually connected to what we're feeling because we're so busy and we're not present to the moment. And if you've been emotionally repressed your whole life, you were taught that in childhood, it's really hard to kind of get those emotions moving, and it's going to take time and effort and patience to be able to get that moving again. So I've been trying something new lately, because what I've discovered is that when I try to force through my to-do list, even if they're things that I'm so inspired about, if there's something that's like emotionally stuck in my body and it's not moving, even the things I'm inspired about feel like force to me, because it's like my body's saying like, we need attention, we need attention, we need attention. So stop working through your to-do list. Stop projecting your energy externally to be in service of others. We need the attention inside. And that's been a real challenge with me my whole life, and I've been really aware of it the last couple of years. And just recently, in the last month or so, a couple months, I've been trying to really be present to what I'm feeling. And the thing is when you try to shift from that go, go, go mentality and repressing everything, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to give presence to what I'm feeling, it doesn't mean that it's going to start moving. It doesn't mean that it's going to trust you, that you're actually going to hold that space for yourself. And that's what I've been discovering, is that it's about really needing to be patient with yourself and not forcing these things to come out of your body. Because when you force these things to come out of your body, that's going to put them into survival mode even more. That's going to put them into freeze mode and repression, which is freeze mode. When you're trying to force things, it's just like that correlation of me talking about trying to force through my work when I'm feeling this emotional blockage in my body and my body's calling to me. If I ignore it and I force, that's the same thing as me going inward and trying to force this emotions to come up. So I've been playing around with really setting boundaries and creating space for myself to feel what's wanting to come up within me, even if it doesn't feel safe to come up. And today, sitting in that space, I probably sat in it for about 20 minutes and things weren't moving. And I had to really, really focus on my mind and talk through when these thoughts came up, like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to get out in service and blah, 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 blah. Just really like debunking those things in the moment and saying, no, like, it's more important for us to create the space for ourselves and what we're feeling emotionally, because the feminine energy is so magnetic. So if I'm not creating the space for myself to feel these emotions, that's turning off my attraction, that's turning off my magnetism, so that I'm not able to actually pull in the things into my reality that I need in my life, the clients that I'm here to serve, like my soul tribe and like all of that stuff. So I was able to talk to my mind that part of me that's like the manager trying to control everything, be like, look, no, we need to create the space. We want the same thing here. We want to be of service, right? We want to attract the clients. We want to be, calling in the soulmate and like doing all of those things, right? But we need to take that time because the feminine energy is the attraction. So I've finally been able to get to the space where I've got that masculine energy that's trying to do all the time, to calm down and to really see the power and the wisdom and all the amazingness and the magnetism that's held within the feminine, which is so huge. So anyways, long story short, what I did today is I spent that time to just really sit there. And of course, the mind was going a mile a minute, trying to figure out, like, what are you actually feeling? Which then took me out of my body and into my mind, analyzing it, right? And when that happens, your body's not going to actually show you what it's feeling inside. And it's not going to release the emotions because you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to control it. You're trying to change it. So I got to the point where I could start to feel, this sadness was starting to come up. And again, it was like, why am I sad? Why am I sad? Why am I sad? And like all these thoughts came to mind. I was like, okay, no, we're not going to follow those trails. We're not going to click on those thoughts. And we're going to just get back into the body, go inside, feel what we feel. And then I was like, okay, let's put on some music because I feel like I'm in a very like repressed state and I'm in freeze mode. I could feel my body tensing up as I was trying to connect with these feelings. So then I decided, let's just put on the headphones, let's pump some music. And I just started like kind of like holding myself and just swaying from side to side. And all of a sudden these thoughts came up. Thoughts that I have never thought before came out of my body. And I was literally mind blown of what the sadness was. And it's like, it just made me realize that, the mind takes the information from the body, which is called affect data. And it gets that information and it like ties something to it. It ties an experience. It ties a thought, a story to it. And then all of a sudden it's like it's bought and sold and you're like, yep, that's the reason why I feel this way. And so it was literally mind blowing because it was nothing connected to anything I'm experiencing in my life right now. Anything that I consciously am worried about or sad about. And the tears just started flooding because I was really holding space for what came up for me. And it just literally blew my mind. So like, I just really wanted to share this with you because we think we know how we're feeling and what's going on in our body, but there's so much wisdom in these emotions and there's so much wisdom in the physical body. And unless you can actually create this space for it to come up and tell you what's going on instead of you trying to like figure it out and intuit it for the unconscious part of you that's trying to be expressed, like you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to keep cycling through the same loop. So I just feel so much lighter, so much more like magnetic, so much clearer when I was able to bring that information up. And now from that place, the information that came through for me, I'm able to really look at that and be like, okay, so now I know that there's this little girl inside of me that is feeling this way from childhood. And now how can I create like an action plan? How can I shift my behaviors, my environment to give her the things that she didn't receive in childhood that she's still holding on to and still really sad about? And that's a powerful thing, is instead of trying to figure out that action plan from the mind, tap into that feminine wisdom, allow it to come up. What are these like unconscious things that you're actually feeling? And then the masculine energy in the mind can go in and analyze, okay, what do we need to do to create this environment and these opportunities in your life to to bring that inner child the things that they didn't get as a child. So there you go. There's my raw and vulnerability. I didn't go into the details about what came up. I'm still processing that. So we'll see if I'll be sharing that in another video. But I just wanted to share my process with you, to encourage you to really try to take a little bit more time for yourself, set those boundaries, turn your phone off, put a do not disturb sign on your door, do all the things you can to just really sit in a space for yourself. And if you're not able to do that, there's absolutely no judgment and no shame. It takes time to be able to do that for yourself. I started out with needing like coaches or friends or partners to create that space for me. And maybe that's where you need to start. So if that's somewhere that you need to start, feel free to reach out to me. I can create that space for you to help you get connected to those feelings in your body. All right, I hope you're doing well, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for holding space for me to be vulnerable and share this with you.